Hello Stampers, it's Judy Anderson from judystamps.com, and this week I'm doing all green cards here on my YouTube channel and over on my blog at judystamps.com. So today's card is going to be a monochromatic card, and it's going to be all green. I'm going to be using the stamp set Winter Woods. This makes wonderful cards, whether they're masculine or everyday cards. I'm pairing that up with our Flowers for All Seasons designer series paper. Now you would not probably think of this designer series paper, but I just love this backside that is just jade, and it has a geometric pattern on it. The backside has got the flowers, but I am choosing this geometric pattern today. Just jade ink pad and Stampin' Write marker. I have our Flowers for All Seasons, one of the spools of ribbons that is the Just Jade gingham. I thought that would look good on this. And then my card base is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. We will burnish that score line. Then I have a piece of Whisper White that measures 4 or just under 4 by 5 1/4. Actually, it's 1/16 smaller. And then I've gone 3/16 smaller with my designer series paper. So that measures, if you want the measurements, it measures 4 15/16 by 3 3/4. So that will lay on that like that. And then from the To a Wild Rose, then I've cut out this label from Rose dies. I love this label, so I thought we'd incorporate that with this. And then I have a 1/8 hole punch. We're going to do a little bit of a ribbon trick. So we're going to stamp on our label, and I want to have a white border around it. So I'm taking these pieces of Post-it note and just covering up that slim border on the other side of those stitch lines. Now I know that they are curved, but this will be close enough. We will ink up our stamp. Now I do know the stamp is larger than my block, but we're not going to be stamping all the stems on here. Our label is not big enough. So I am just going to try to get these to go straight across and press. And there we go. Now we'll remove our Post-it, and then we have that white border around the bottom of our card. Now what I'm going to do for my verse, I'm taking it right out of the stamp set, and this one says thinking of you this season, but we're going to do the omitting technique and omit part of the words. So we're only going to use thinking of you, and I want to cut this over here and have my sentiment to be a peekaboo through my label. So I am just going to ink up the thinking of you and stamp it on the back. And there is a reason for that. You'll see that in a minute. That's not going to stay on there. On the side of your Stampin' Write marker, you want to color your stamp. Just like that. Now I know I'm going to want this in the lower right hand corner, so that's where I'm going to stamp this. Right down there. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my classic label punch, and with those words on the back, I am just going to punch where those words are, or those letters are. I'm going to do this straight. Okay. Now I need to go just a little bit farther, so I'm just going to line this up and stamp it just a little bit farther, about 1/4 inch. I'm going to take my stamp, ink that up, and I'm going to test it. So I'm just going to stamp that on my scrap piece of paper here and put that over, and as you can see, it fits right in there. So that's not going to be a problem. So we're going to go ahead and adhere this to our basic white cardstock. And I'm going to go up to that label there and just on this side. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to my basic white mat, making sure my border all the way around is even. Come down a little bit. Okay, now we're going to ink up our stamp with our marker again on the side. Make sure it's colored really good and we've got good ink on there. And now we're going to stamp that in the center of that opening. And look at that. We've got our peekaboo. Let's grab our Take Your Pick tool and just take those chads off of there. Ooh, these are sticky. Usually they pop right off. Yep, got them all off. Go ahead and put this in the center. Okay, before we adhere this, I want to put a bow, but I don't want a frilly bow. I want more of a masculine bow. So I am going to run it up here. So I am going to be putting 2 holes with my 1/8 inch hole punch up here. Okay, so we've got our 2 holes punched up here. Now we're going to take our ribbon and put it through. Let me just straighten this end out here. So you're just going to take one end and put it through one hole, and then the other end and push it through the other hole. I am using my stylus for this. I find that it makes it easier. Let's poke that through that side. Take this side of the ribbon towards the end. And the reason why I cut it plenty long enough is because it does fray a little bit when you're doing this technique. And just put it right through and fluff those up a little bit so they're not indented. Okay, now we're going to take on the back and we're going to cross over our ribbon tails and poke them from the back up. Okay, and pull it up. This is one of the first ways to tie a ribbon that I learned 20 years ago when I became a demonstrator. And it's one of my favorites for more masculine type cards. And pull that through that side. Okay, so we've got that, and so I'm just going to cut those ends. Just trim them. You don't want this one going over the edge, so we'll have to trim this one just a little bit. Now I could have, and after I have this on here, I could have done this at an angle so it was going this way, but I kind of like it this way. We're going to finish up our card by putting some adhesive on across the middle. Oops, I got tape on there. Put this on our card front. Okay, so there we go. There's the outside of your card and the inside. Hope you enjoyed today's card, and see you guys next time. Happy stamping, everybody.